What's up, everybody? If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you are new to this channel, I highly suggest that you go ahead and like and subscribe because we're going to be showing a lot of interesting videos on this channel. So go ahead and do that real quick. So today's video is actually a video I meant to do since the beginning of this channel. When I first created it, the sole purpose was to give like dog owners tips and tricks. When I got Simba at first, he was the complete opposite that I thought a dog would be, especially as a puppy. Pretty much I would like to share my experience of how my time has been raising Simba so far. He's about to be 7 months and I got him when he was about 2 months old. 2 months and like 2 weeks. So time has completely flew by these last couple of months. It's been a crazy like emotional roller coaster just because some days I feel like there's so much progress and other days it feels like we're going backwards, but that's the journey of raising a puppy. I know when I first started teaching Simba, like I based it off of my experience with adult dogs and they kind of already have learned their own ways. So when I had my puppy, which was Simba, I realized that almost everything of how they act and how they interpret things is based off of how you teach them. So you need a lot of patience. You can't really get mad at the little things that they're gonna do because they're puppies. They're gonna make mistakes. Even as adults, they're gonna make mistakes. But what I've learned out of all this is patience. You know what I'm saying? Like I've learned a lot of different things about he act when he makes mistakes so that he knows it's okay and we can learn together. All right, back to the video. One of the things that I do want to point out though is we initially started off with a collar when we would take Simba on walks. He was such an excited little puppy that was so curious about the world and the people and the other animals around it that he would pull so much and constantly. I didn't want him getting hurt, so we switched him from a collar to a harness, and that made things like 20 times easier. Now whenever he did pull with a harness, it wouldn't really put any strain on his neck or his shoulder or his throat or anything like that. Pretty much now it was just like a well-balanced placed leash. And we pretty much had to like make him get used to all his surroundings. So in the beginning, you want to walk your dog with a similar routes. In our case, we live in the city, so it's pretty much block by block. So we would take him a specific route that would be initially it would be about 1 block away since he was a little puppy, and then as he was getting older and he had more energy, it was a 2nd block, 3rd block, and then now at this age pretty much we walk him around everywhere. But you want to walk him in a regular route so that he's not as excited to like explore everything since he's already been there before. It's just like a regular checkup. Like I mentioned earlier, pretty much you want to have a lot of patience when you're walking your dog, just because if you introduce a word to them, it's going to take a while for them to register it and then connect it to whatever action you want them to do. So don't expect them to know what slow or stop or sit means right away. You want to kind of register these words with them, especially with treats. In the beginning, whenever he would pull, I would tell him slow or no or relax. And he knows these words already. And whenever he would do the action that I would expect of him, I would give him a little treat. And that helps a lot just because whenever you associate those words and that action with a treat, he knows he's doing a good job with it. And if you just keep saying these words without any real prize or consequence, then they won't really be held accountable for their actions. Another thing you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure that they're following you and keeping up with your pace and not the other way around, because if you're keeping up with their pace, they're going to keep going faster and faster because they're so excited. Versus if you keep them at your pace, they're pretty much more restricted. One of the tricks that I'll really emphasize is if you're walking your dog and your dog is constantly pushing you forward or pulling you forward or not really listening to the pace that you want to go at, all you really have to do is just let them lead you for like a few, like 2-3 seconds, and then just stop. As soon as you stop, they're going to be really confused as to why you have stopped moving, and they're going to want to look back at you. Once they look back at you, they're going to realize that if you're not moving, they're not going to be able to move either. And you don't want to pull them back towards you. because if you're pulling towards you, they're gonna think it's a game, or they'll get more excited and get stuck in like an excited state, and you don't want that. More than anything, the reason why you're stopping is because you want them to relax. Okay, so once you're in a stationary position, you just want to make sure you're not pulling or tugging your dog towards you, just because that's going to get them excited and they're going to think you're playing, or they're going to want to pull you back. So more than anything, you want them to relax. And if you're staying in the same position and you're not giving them any attention, they're going to want to either walk towards you, they're going to want to sit, or they're just going to be looking around. These are all good behaviors because they realize that they have to stick to your pace if they want to keep moving forward. And once your dog either sits or is just in a calm state, and you can tell they're not really like as excited anymore or as in a rush, you can start moving towards them and give them a treat, because that's rewarding good behavior that you want from them. And this is not something that you're going to do once or twice and it'll work. No, this is going to be a lot of practice, maybe days, weeks, maybe even months if your dog is hard-headed, or just not all dogs learn as fast as some may learn, just because of their instincts and their drives. Like, for example, Simba, he has a really high prey drive, and one of the hardest things is when he sees dogs or any small animals, he gets really excited, and it's like you're talking to a wall. Like, I literally had to hold him down sometimes and just make him look straight at me so I can have his attention, because he will like go crazy sometimes. And that was more towards the beginning of the training. Now he's just a lot more calmer. He's also maturing, just because he was a puppy. He's still a puppy at 6 months, but he's more close to the 7-month mark, and you can really tell his maturity. And mixed with the training, he's just come a really long way, to the point where I'm not as worried if he pulls a little bit, just because I know he doesn't mean to. I train him with a short leash on purpose, just because that's more of a stricter type of walk with him. If I leave him on a long leash, there's more room for error, just because he can jump on people, he can rush something. If I have him on a retractable short leash, pretty much it's like eliminating any other chances of him messing up. The biggest thing is with bigger dogs, they don't really realize how heavy they are or how strong they are sometimes. Even with me, I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'2" and about 215 pounds. Even when he gets excited with me, sometimes he can almost off balance me, or he can pull me a little bit. And he's only 7 months old, you know what I'm saying? So I'd rather avoid a situation. If I have him on a short leash, then I know for a fact I can hold him back if if he were to get too excited and jump on a dog. And it's not that he's aggressive at all. He's actually quite the opposite. You know, I have small dogs at home, a rat terrier and a small labradoodle, and he's not really aggressive. It's just that he's so big, he doesn't realize how much pressure he has when he like jumps on them or plays tag with them. And it's the same thing with people. He can jump on me or my sister or my mom, and you can just feel how heavy he is. He is about 55 pounds. And it's a big difference. And as you can tell in the video, pretty much he still pulls and tugs a little bit here and there. It's not really a problem, I would say, just because he's barely 7 months old. He still has a few things in the world he hasn't really explored or seen yet. So he gets excited for squirrels, he gets excited for birds, bunnies, all the time. He gets excited for bunnies. And whenever I do have to hold him back, it's never with like a full force or anything. Like, I use 2 fingers at a time, just because it's not that much pressure. And at the same time, it gives him a little extra length. It is a really short leash, so the fact that he still stays within my range with that short leash, it still shows that he knows what I expect of him. So he doesn't really get too excited to the point where I have to use full force or anything to hold him back. Worst case scenario, I just tell him to sit or